This is the last video I'm recording before I head back to Boston down here at the lake, I believe. I'm not sure how this looks because it's kind of, I can't really see the camera on here too well. It's kind of cloudy, so there's not a lot of light out here, so I'm not sure how this is coming across on the camera. But as you can see, here's the lake. It's a kind of a greenish color right now. I'm not sure if you're able to see it or not. I know I can see the kind of like the mirror reflection on the water, or maybe like a, I guess it's sort of a mirror reflection. On the camera it looks mirrored, but when I look out in the water it doesn't look so mirrored as much. The water's kind of a bluish green color. Green in a little bit more spots, but it should disperse a little bit better. And this should help keep some of the algae stuff under control. You should be able to see a little bit of algae right there. And you can kind of see like stuff over there. See if I can't zoom in here. Like you can see stuff just kind of just popping on the water, and that's like insect activity. Like those little, I can keep the camera from shaking. Like those little rippers are like insects coming out. And I don't think we're going to be able to see, God, see if I can get this stabilized here. Maybe see a fish pop out of the water or something, if we're lucky. I need better equipment than just this camera phone. I'll zoom back out. Maybe, okay. Zooming out doesn't shake as bad. I don't think it's in. Plus I'm just weak or shaking from the work Greg and I just did. We got quite a bit cut on the trail. I wish I could have got some more done, but it still work for the future. I could pay someone to come down and do it, but that's not the whole point. The whole point is for me to do some of it, you know, because it doesn't need to be done right away. So there's no need to pay someone to do it right now. So I'll come back during Christmas time here and cut some more of this stuff down that I didn't get to. I cut most of the stuff around the dam. I think you can see it there. Most of it's down. I did not get a chance to cut down that sycamore tree straight ahead. I think I'll leave it alone for now. And I'll definitely get it at Christmas time. Oh, up there is, I think that's a raven flying. You can see it a little bit there. I see those guys here everywhere. So it's kind of cool to have like smart birds here. I just have to watch out for them. You never know when they may turn. Alfred Hitchcock taught me that back when I was a kid. I definitely need to get this dock here that I'm standing on. I'm probably going to replace it and probably put in like a gazebo here. And probably extend it out in the water another 10 feet or so, and then maybe put like a little boat dock there beside it that always has like a canoe or kayak tied to it. Over here, there's already like a boat ramp already in there for you to launch yourself, like right there. So if someone else wants to put a boat in, they can do it from there. But I kind of like just have like a kayak or something tied up out here. So you can just jump in and do a few laps around the lake. Next year I'm going to clean up that a little bit better. You can't see it from here, but inside there I already cleared it out a little. But I want to get it cleared out a little bit more. So it's here. Actually, I can see the green water here now, and looks. I think it looks kind of pretty. I really do like the color of it. But I'm going to get in there and clean that out a little bit better around the shoreline, so you can walk down it. And basically, what I'm planning to do, and the reason Greg and I are cutting the trail, I like to get a running trail cut around the lake, or as best I can. Even though I own the entire lake up there, you can't see it, but there's a couple people that live right beside the lake, So I only have about like a foot or so of property line on there, over there, so I really couldn't run on their property, and I wouldn't really want to. But I can at least get a lake, I can get a trail cut to about right there where those tall trees are kind of sticking up. And then I can have it go all the way around across the dam over there by those trees, cut over here, and then go through here, and then run all the way down there. And it's, you can't see it from this dock, but the lake kind of curves around just a little bit. And I think we actually might have captured a fish jumping out of the water, but from this zoom angle, we probably didn't. You probably can't tell that it did. I was having to see it with my eye when I turned around. But the trail is probably going to be about 6/10 of a mile, probably about somewhere between half a mile and 6/10 of a mile long. So it's not too bad. Maybe a little bit longer. I got to go out and actually measure it all out just to see. And but it should be a pretty decent trail. It's also going to be large enough to take a tractor back there on there too. I just need to get back there with a dozer or a tractor and pull out some of these old logs that are just on the looks like an old logging road or an old road that existed here back in the day, and so we can actually run there and get the tractor on, because now it's just really dangerous to be around. So I had to go down a couple of hills, little slopes, to actually cut the running trail, or just the trail in general, just to get to the back of my property. We'll come back during Christmas time when the leaves and everything are off the trees, and actually be a little bit easier to cut stuff and move stuff around. Hopefully there won't be too much snow at the time, or any at all, and it'll make it easier to get back there, or hopefully it doesn't rain, and to get some more of this stuff cleared off, and prepare, hopefully to, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It's like, I kind of like to be home, but at the same time, I like Boston a lot, so I'd like to do both somehow, but for now, I'm going to stay in Boston for as long as I can. Maybe just use this as like a second home here, and just come home during the summertime, and maybe rent it out or something. I'm not sure. Even though I'm not an avid fisherman or anything like that, I do like being out here on the water, even though I don't like, I can't swim very well. So as long as I have a life jacket on, I'm in decent shape and I can swim to save my life. Just not swim enough to enjoy swimming. But I just kind of like peace and quiet, even though it's kind of loud. You can hear the kind of cars going by. But I can put up more trees and everything to act as a noise break. And like I said, that's the downside of living by 62. The upside is that down here, because it is somewhat of a major road, we have, like at this place here, I have county water, so I don't have to have a well. And I also have access to cable internet, as opposed to the very slow windstream DSL that sucks so bad around here that everyone has problems with. So I have at least that option for internet and stuff like that. So even though it is a rural area, as you can see, and pretty much as far as you can see is all I own, or I own it as far as you can see. So it's about 110 acres all the way back over there to East D Road, and over here, we'll try to zoom in here and hopefully it won't shake too much. Right behind those trees, that hill right there, and that's why it's shaking like crazy, because it's zoomed in. I'm going to zoom back out so it doesn't shake as much. That's where I'm going to put my house, and then I'm going to put a garage or something where that barn is right there, and then I'm going to put a big shop in behind those trees right there so you can't see it from the road. But over on that hill, I'm going to build what's called a monolithic dome, and it's going to be it's probably going to be about 100 feet in diameter, and so it's going to put it about 50 feet tall at the point inside, because I'm going to make it a half sphere. And the reason I want to build a monolithic dome is because it's a thin shell concrete dome, and it's pretty much just impervious to any type of natural disaster. Due to the shape of it, it's very strong. Being made out of concrete, reinforced concrete, it's very, very strong. A fire would basically just go over the building because it's not flammable at all. Earthquakes don't really affect it because of the structure of it. Tornadoes won't really impact it too much, and that's a threat down here that I have to worry about, is tornadoes more than anything, any other kind of natural disaster. Because it's up on that hill right there, I don't have to worry about it flooding, because that hill is higher than the low point over here where 62 starts going down. So when it starts to flood, it doesn't even get halfway up the hill at all. And then water starts pouring over 62 down in the valley over there, and that runs off into the Nolin River watershed that all the water here goes to eventually. As you can see, I think you can see the little drain over there possibly. So if water ever gets up to over those hills right there, that means pretty much almost all of Hardin County is just flooded. So I don't have to worry about water ever getting into those hills, because it would mean like the entire county is almost underwater. So that's where I'm going to build my house at eventually. And then, like I said, I'm going to tear down that dock and put another dock up. And I'm going to put some fruit trees on the back side of that barn and start an orchard. And also have some bees down here if I move back home permanently, which I'm not sure of now. I'd like to, but you know, work is what it is. I really like what I do. I like the people that I work with. So I like living in Boston. So it's like, you know, you get pulled in 2 or 3 different directions and you don't know which way to go. So for now, I'm staying in Boston and just using this as just like a vacation spot. And I'll probably keep vacationing here probably for the next 5 years or so. I may go somewhere else, you know, because I have been with my company for so long that I do get 6 weeks of vacation a year that I accrue. So it's nice to be able to have that much time and be able to just do stuff. So maybe spend 4 weeks home a year and then go another 2 weeks somewhere else. So, you know, you're not always here. Because when you're on vacation, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to have to work all the time. But I don't really consider this too much work because I just come down here and kind of piddle. And but yeah, like I said, it's a good problem to have. Let's jump down over here. And it's hard to, I only wanted 5 to 10 acres. And this place was for sale, and this is kind of like my childhood. I lived up the road probably about half a mile or less, and I'd pass by it all the time, and no one knew who owned it, or my dad knew who owned it, but the old judge, Hubbard, I think it was his name, he died off, but then I never saw anybody out here on this property at all, except for 2 times I seen someone out here at the water. And I passed by it every day when I went to school up here at West Hardin, right up the road here. And so when it became for sale, it was really hard to pass up. Even though I didn't need this much land, as I said, I just wanted about 5 to 10 acres. It's really hard to pass up owning your own lake and kind of like an estate. And thanks to Financial Engine stock, because I was able to buy the property here. And my property goes, see if you can't see my finger pointing, straight over there, probably for about 2/10 of a mile or so, 3/10. It's pretty wide down here. It gets kind of narrow over here. And I'm going to leave these trees up here, maybe thin it out just a little bit. Not sure how much battery life I have left on this thing. We're going about 15 minutes in. Wow. So This is the longest video I'm recording here. But I need to get in there and just clear that out. But that's a problem for the future. Since this is Friday, it's my last day before I go back to work. Or not back, or just fly back to Boston, because I'm flying in on a Saturday this time to give myself a little bit of time to get acclimated, as opposed to just coming in and just being wore out because you just flew in late that Sunday, and sometimes your flight's late. So we need to get in there, cut down these trees here just a little bit, push all this stuff back. I cut down some of these trees here earlier because they were overhanging, and they would scratch people's cars up while they drive around this road here. And although the previous people had gravel here, I'm probably just gonna let grass grow over it and then just drive on that, because I don't see myself. You don't need to have gravel to drive on. You don't need gravel to drive on for the most part. Just let the grass kind of just take it over. But just kind of cut back. We'll go in here a little bit. You can see this is there's like a rock cliff there. You can see the rocks right there. And I wouldn't mind building like a Shinto shrine and have stuff cut into the rocks and just kind of lead up there, because on top of there's a little bit of a flat spot. And I'm trying to think if I have that bush hogged out or not. I'll have to check. Since this is the longest video and the last video, we'll go up here and check. Here you can see right there, that's actually sand. You can see how fine it is. And that's from all the on top of my heel back here, there is a lot of sandstone, and it's just washing off and coming down, because everything kind of drains towards the lake, which is good, which is what I need to keep it filled. So cut down some of these trees. Except put my house over here. And I'll have to go through the brush to get up here where I think I may put my shop at. And I don't feel like doing that. And stuff's kind of, I don't feel like getting a lot of ticks and everything on me. Right there, where all that stuff is grown up at, there's actually an old cabin there. And there may be some, who knows what's in there. I don't know how long that cabin's been there. But it's been there for a long, long time. The bottom of that has rotted out, and the cabin's fell somewhat. So there may be some antiques or something in there. The problem is there's animals and all other things in there. And so we were going to do it at Christmas time last year or sometime in the winter time. But the problem is, as you know, in Boston and down here in Kentucky, it didn't get that cold last year during winter time, at least in the States. And we wanted to be about 0 or so. Like pretty much like the most miserable day you can think of is when you want to go into that cabin. So it gets cold enough so all the animals such as snakes and lizards and so forth are not moving for the most part, and hopefully like there's not raccoons or anything in there. So, but here, I bush hogged this last year, and this stuff's already just come up that much because water kind of just runs down in there. This, shit, what the hell was that? Is that a groundhog or? Fuck, scared the shit out of me. I don't know what that was. I can't even see it. We do have groundhogs over here, and hard to think now. I do have a groundhog problem, so I need to get those under control. I saw one earlier as well that ran back towards the old house that I have back there. But here, this was like an old pond that held some water, but is now dried up. And what I'm going to do here, since this is pretty rich dirt, because you can see how stuff just kind of comes up, because this is all nothing at the beginning of this year for the most part, and then you can see how much this stuff's kind of grown up. I'm going to plant a lot of my trees in here, my fruit trees, apples and cherry trees and so forth. And this is the old barn here. It needs to come down. It's in horrible shape. And I didn't buy it, you know, because it was any good. I was just buying this just for the land. And as I stated earlier on a few, I hate the sycamore trees, except when they get to be these large ones here. So I do like very tall trees. I don't think sycamore wood's good for anything. I don't know how strong or anything it is, but that is a big tree there. I don't know. Let's see if we can't zoom in, because I don't feel like going down in there. See if I can't. This thing does not like zoom and shake. But that is about a 40-inch diameter tree, it looks like. Zoom back out so it doesn't shake as much. So I do like that tree, just because it's so big. You can see it's probably about 40 feet tall or so. I have a couple other ones over here as well. These aren't that large, or they're not as large as that other one. These are only about, looks to be about somewhere between 12 and 16 inches in diameter. And there's another one here. And I think that's a walnut tree, just because there's, you can go over here and see walnuts on there. So in case you ever wonder what walnuts look like before you shell them, that's what they look like. They have that green shell that has this purple stain on the inside and stain your clothes. Watch out. Over here, the old judge really liked pine trees, so he planted pine trees everywhere. These trees here didn't do too well. No one ever came in and thinned them out. And because they kind of grew up kind of like spindly, you can see kind of how they're all competing for the sun by going straight up. They never got to be very thick because no one came in to cut a few of them out so these bigger trees could get taller. So what happened was, these aren't too bad here, but over here you can see that one tree leaning down. That was like ice storm damage. And then there's some other ones through here that were caused by the ice storm, where we get freezing rain in Kentucky. Like, you know, I think Boston's had it a few times. And it's just walked into a few spider webs. Hopefully the spider's not on there. You can see that the sheer weight of the freezing rain when it gets onto these smaller trees just basically bends them down and sometimes kills the tree, like it did this tree right here. You can see that the brown needles, but then there's some other trees up there that are bent and they're still alive. So if I wanted to keep these trees here, I would actually go through and thin them out, but what I'm thinking about doing is just dozing all of this off here so I have more flat land, because as we kind of walk around, the land here is not very flat, and the part that is flat could flood. So, or a lot of the part that is flat could flood. So I don't have a lot of building land here for like a house. So I may tear down or flatten all this out right here, so I can have a larger area, like I said, for my 100-foot monolithic dome that's going to have about 3 stories or so in it. I'm still building on the architecture plans for that. I keep adding stuff to it that I see that I like, and add everything. Over here, where I'm standing at now, and where this old trailer is where I'd like to build my house, and then have my bedroom overlooking the lake over here. Just bear with me here. I would keep, though it gets kind of dry, especially after doing all the work Greg and I did. But basically build my house around here. See if I can't see. You can see this hill here on the other side of that trailer. But I can't go too far back over here because it goes down into kind of like a sinkhole. I may be able to take some dirt from another place and push in over here, but it would be a lot of work. So we'll see on the exact location, on what I can do on everything. But it's real pretty here. I do like it. Over here it's not too loud. We're back a little bit further back from the road, and I can put some trees up over there by the road, as you can see a car going by, to act as more of a noise break as well. I do like a lot of Japanese architecture, so what I plan to do over the dam right here, right there about in the middle of the dam, is put up what they call like a torii, which is a gateway from the profane, basically go from the profane world to the sacred. But in this instance, it's kind of doing the opposite, where the profanity lives here on my property with myself, and the innocent world, the sacred world, is really the outside world. But I really do like the way the torii looks, so I'm going to put that up. And like I said, I kind of like the way the Shinto shrines look as well, so I'm going to build something over there, like probably up on that hill, because you can see the trees kind of go up, and like cut it into the actual bank. And since it's going to be like a monolithic dome here, I think if I really wanted to, I could probably rent it out for some people. Because people would want to, like, when I build it, I know people are going to say, like, you know, who's the crazy guy living in the round concrete house. And like I said, I could possibly rent it out. I want to get some bees in down here, and maybe just put maybe just a couple more domes or something over there, and maybe try to sell this place as like a nature excursion. I'm going to try to buy some more property up on the back side of my place, and on the front side there too, once it becomes available for sale, if I can swing it. But there's a lot of stuff I could do here. It's all about how much motivation I have, and it comes and goes. I have a lot of good ideas. I have, you know, a decent amount of money. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe I'll get lucky and hit the lottery, and then I won't have to worry about any of this, and just try to keep people away from me, because they'll be trying to take my money. But it's a nice place. I do really like it here. But I do need to get back to work too, because you can't be gone from work too long, because if they can live without you for too long, do they really need you? And at the same time, you don't want to be gone, because stuff just kind of falls behind, and it just makes it kind of harder to go back. But 2.5 weeks is a good time. 3 weeks wouldn't be. 3 weeks would have been a little bit better, but I just needed a break from everything, and I didn't get a lot of stuff done here. But that first week I was in, I just rested. I slept in, like on the first videos you heard me say, I was sleeping in until somewhere between noon and 1, and waking up. And now this week I actually been getting up around like 8 or 9, like the usual time, and coming in and just kind of just piddling around doing some stuff. Like I said, we dyed the lake. I got a nice color. Ooh, there's nice fish over there that jumped in. I don't know if that got on the camera or not. My brother-in-law did inform me that the bass and the bluegills are kind of stunted here, and he was kind of surprised by that. But the reason for that is it's pretty much an equilibrium. Since we don't take any of the fish out of here, because no one really fishes here, because I don't want them to, since it's my property and I don't want people just coming on it. I don't want to be liable in case they get hurt or something. Even though most people around here wouldn't sue, it just takes that one person that gets hurt, and then it's just too much of a headache to deal with. But the bass are only about 7 or 8 inches here, and the reason for that is just because they kind of reach the same size and they can't get over that hump just because there's too many of them. What we need to do is just actually come in here and fish some of these small bass out, to give the bass a little bit large, to give them a better time to grow, so they're not all competing for the same resources. So it's kind of counterintuitive by taking out the small ones, because if you take out the small ones, it's going to give those other ones a chance to grow a little bit larger, and you just put everything back in. That's if you really want to have largemouth bass. Myself, I really don't care, but other people like the larger fish, so I may try to take some of these small fish out. Because the bluegills are the same way. It's because everything's just an equal balance, because no one fishes here. The catfish are pretty large, according to my brother-in-law, so Daniel. So we may try to get those. Like I said, may try to get some of the fish out. I don't want to do like a kill, but I may just maybe say next year, just put something in the local paper, like one day or one weekend only, come down and fish to your heart's content and take out what you want. I'm not sure how many people would show up and fish though, so I kind of have to limit it somewhat, because I don't want all the fish taken out of the water. And I'm not sure how many fish are actually in here. I assume it's probably going to be in the thousands, due to the fact that this, like I said, it's about somewhere between 8 and 12 acres. I had to look at it on the map just to see. And there's usually about 200 or about 150 bass per acre. And then I don't know how many, probably about the same with catfish as well. And then bluegill and everything else that's in the water. There's some grass carp. They try to keep the plants under control, but they weren't doing too good of a job. The problem is, I think a lot of my carp went over. I did see them go over my dam here when it flooded last year. The road and everything was underwater last year. We had a once in a century type flood that now happens seems like once every 3 years or 4 years. And a lot of the carp went over the dam and over here into this holler, and went down the Shinto. And that Shinto I'm not going to clean out at all. I'll clean out just a little bit on the edges, and it's not even a Shinto, it's just like a dip there, but there's a Shinto over there because water from my drain runs into it. Need to get this ditch over here fixed. The water's just kind of eroded here just a little bit, but we'll do that, like I said, when I go to build the house, whenever that may be. It depends on the money situation. If I can come into some decent amount of money, it'll happen quicker. If not, everything's on about a 5 to 10 year plan. Up there's a hawk flying around. Don't know if you can see it. Keeps everything kind of in check here. I was hoping to see a hawk or something come down and grab a fish one time, because I did see them flying around up in the sky, and it looked like they were scanning for fish, but then he never went in for a kill. So Not sure. That dock right there in the middle of the water, I'm gonna get rid of. There's no need for it, and I'm gonna get rid of the lights that are the electrical wire going through the lake. And I think you can see. We'll zoom in here. I know it's gonna shake. You can see a telephone pole there beside the tree, and there's another telephone pole in behind that tree. You just can't see it too well. Zoom back out so it doesn't jump as much. I'm not sure why. The anti-shake seems to work pretty good on when my hands aren't shaking too bad, when it's stabilized, but when you do the zoom, it really starts shaking a lot. I'm not sure if it's because it's amplified, because now like a millimeter shake becomes like a 4 millimeter shake when it's zoomed in so far. But like I said, I want to, with that dock there, I'm probably going to burn that next year and extend that out into the water a little bit. Not going to have too big of a one there, and I'm going to put one a little bit further down the lake too. I may have this area over here filled in with blast rock to give myself a little bit more of a building area. We'll see how. I actually need to measure this out, and I've never got a chance to do that. See how much area I have here so I can build my massive house. Well, it's been, I had a good time here this trip. Got a lot of rest, pretty relaxed right now. Got some work done, sweated a lot. The shirts are just caked in, like they'll have like sweat rings on them just because that's how much salt I just lost, because the humidity here is just so horrible that when you sweat, it just doesn't evaporate at all. It just soaks up, and you just keep losing more and more sweat, and it just clings to you. So you have like these like salt rings on your shirt, and pretty much everyone has them, no matter who you are. There's just no if you work outside a lot, there's no way to avoid it for the most part, because your sweat just doesn't evaporate and you just don't cool off. So the sweat just stays in your water, or it stays like, basically suspended in your shirt, and the salt just kind of builds up, and it'll eventually, ruin your shirt. But it's the price of doing business here in Kentucky. Well, I'm kind of tired. I'll give you one last shot here, panoramic of everything. And I'm gonna take off. I've actually been recording this for 37 minutes. Wow. I'll make it 40, and I'll walk up to my car. As I said, I need to fix this ditch here, but I may just fill that in. Probably need to cut down a couple of these trees here eventually. But for now, it's kind of nice to have the trees here for a little bit of shade. They're not really hurting too much stuff being here. They're not near the dam to cause any type of hole to plug into it. And I need to get the water level raised up, but that's a project for next year, or maybe 2 years out. It's not a problem right now because the solution they have in place works. I just like to get the level of it raised up a little bit so it does look a little bit better around here. When I do raise that up though, I'll never be able to have dye in it. But the good thing is, if the water level is high enough, it means water is really flowing. So algae is actually flowing out the drain, which is good. That's the problem now. It's like there's not enough water, so algae kind of builds up on the surface. And I guess I should point towards the lake, and it turns the water, not this color here, but it's like that olive color in one of the previous videos that you saw when I was first dispersing the chemicals into the water to turn it this green color. And this green color, what it does is it prevents certain spectrum of visible light that the algae use to photosynthesize. So if the algae can't photosynthesize as well, they won't grow as much. And so if they can't grow as much, they won't turn the water that olive color that it is. You can see, actually, yeah, a little bit, that brown spot there, like algae. And here, I got some bushes I need to cut down, and those sycamore trees there I need to get down. That sycamore tree up there I need to get down, because here is a little bit of a dam as well. And I think this may be where a hole came into the lake a while back, and they fixed it here. And this is where the hillside, like I said, where I think I put the shop in back over there. Like I said, maybe put in like a Shinto shrine over here. And I'm trying to think what type of kami that I'm enshrining. I'm going to put some statues up over here. I noticed over there, you can't see it, and I can't even zoom in to see it from here. On the other side of the shore where those bushes are, someone put in like a frog statue like there, and so I like that. So I may put in another, like a little bit larger one, and have that one repainted. But I also like to get like a coyote statue for down here, not one that's howling, because I just don't like the way those look, but just like a coyote that looks inquisitive. I'd like to get like a raven statue as well, like another totem. Then maybe maybe a bear, just because I like the way they look, and just have like different animal spirits like guarding my lake here. And because the frog statue just kind of surprised me. It's like, why is this here? It just kind of looked out of the ordinary. I don't feel like walking over there. And once I get in the car, I'm just leaving. I don't feel like getting back out because I need to go home and take a shower. But I need to cut down this stuff over here. We'll fix that dock. These are all future problems. First world problems. I'm not sure what this video looks like, how it captures the color of the lake. The lake is kind of like a turquoise color right now, which is what I need it to be to kill off the algae. Here's some more of the pine trees that the old judge loved and planted a ton of them here. I think his goal was to try to plant a lot of pine trees and possibly sell them as timber in the future. It's just that he never went back to thin any of this stuff out. I don't know if he got in bad health or just what. I think he died in the 80s sometime, and then his wife sort of lived here, but not really. And I was able to get this place because she left it to her daughter, and her daughter, I think and her husband, they're from the Baltimore, D.C. area. They just didn't want to be down here, and they were kind of needing the money right away. And this is 110 acres, and there's not a lot you can do with it. It's kind of rocky. It's very woody, it's very rolling, so you really can't use it as farmland. So banks really don't want to loan you money on it. So I was one of the few people that actually could just buy it for what they were asking for it at the time, and actually got it a little bit less than, because at first they were trying to, I think they were trying to get $300 out of it, and I was like, yeah, this is too much. Or supposedly some guy was going to get it for $300. And I told him at the time it's supposed to be like 115 acres. I would give them $2,000 an acre for it, which is a pretty good deal for me. And not too bad for them, just due to the fact that you're not going to get a lot of money off this place, you know, for the most part, like farm-wise. So like usually farm acres around here, I think, go for somewhere between like $4,000 and $8,000 an acre. So there's no way they're ever going to get that type of money off of this rolling land, because you can't see it here, but on the backside it's really rolling, a lot of hills and everything. But it's nice. Next year, clear this out a little bit better. I took a video of this earlier when I did a little bit of like, you know, cleared out, not cleared out. I can't remember how long ago that was, 3-4 days ago. I think I'm going to post all these videos at the same time though, so I'll try to put them in chronological order. So my narration, although albeit crappy, sort of makes sense on what's actually happening. But what I did in here the other night, because it was starting to get kind of twilight and I didn't want to be in the back when I was cutting my trail, was I come in here and I cut down a few of this stuff. You can see here some of the cedar trees that I kind of cut down, and some of the trees that I already cut here that are already starting to die out. Just a little mosquito. Looks like the rappel is finally wearing off because my sweat just wore it off. So you can see here I cleared this out a little bit better, and it's not as cleared out as the stuff over there. We'll walk into it here since I got it cleared out just a little bit and try to get away from that mosquito, even though they love my blood. It's not as cleared out over here, but it's definitely cleared out better than there. One of my other arch nemesis, the briars. Anytime you can cut down a briar, you do it. You can see here I did that many times. Well, this ends my trip to Kentucky for this time. I'll be back during Christmas time. I'm gonna see if I can I'm gonna tell my friends when I'm coming in this time and actually try to get some work scheduled. See if they can come down and help me just clear out some of this stuff. Because a lot of stuff will be a little bit easier to clear out during the wintertime when all the leaves and everything falls off these deciduous trees. And get this looking a little bit nicer in here. It's always going to be a working project. I understand that. And but you know, every little bit helps right now. So to the people in Boston, I will see you on Monday. And rest of my friends down here in Kentucky and elsewhere, I'll see you, the Kentucky friends, in Christmas, and California friends, I'm not sure, maybe in maybe February or so. Mickey out.